Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast. My name is Nancy Moore, and I am the host of this weekly podcast that provides career and creative inspiration to help you build a passionate and purpose-filled life. You'll hear from guests that will help you tap into your creative potential, pursue a career with passion, and build on your biggest and best resource, yourself. I'm excited to have you join this conversation. I'm so happy you're here. Let's get started. Hi, everybody. So before we get started with this episode, I would just like to take a minute to call your attention to my upcoming November event. It's a holiday event that I am very excited about. I have 3 amazing women who will be joining me on November 14th, which is a Friday, from 9 to 1. And this will be a great time for women in the Tulsa area to come together for a celebration and to receive inspiration leading into the holidays. So the 3 featured guests that I have are Jill Donovan, who is the founder. Many know her as the founder of Rustic Cuff. She has also created another line that is absolutely one of my favorites. I have a cross from this line, and her line is called Jill Donovan. And she is a speaker, she's a podcaster, she's an author, and she is coming out with her new book. And so we are going to hear from her about her new book and just really get to pick her brain on business and a lot of other things as well. So that will be really fun. And then I have Carol Matthews, and Carol is the founder of Hero Productions, which is a multimedia company. And Carol is absolutely incredible. She has many accolades, and I have hosted her at an event, and she will be talking to us about victim versus victor mentality. So at the event that I hosted her last year, she talked about mission, vision, values, and she has so many things that she is well versed in and knowledgeable and really an expert in. And as we were talking about the victim and victor, I thought that is just the perfect topic to visit as we're going into the holidays. And so that will be a great conversation. And then also the amazing Cindy Kane, who many of you know as Hyacinth. She is best friends with the pioneer woman, Ree Drummond, and is a cookbook author. She is also a speaker. She's got so many other great things that she is doing, and her topic will be about entertaining and how to make entertaining fun and easy, especially, don't we all need that, especially around the holidays? And so she will be serving us some dishes, and she is also providing an amazing gift that people will get to walk away with that you all will be using, I know, during the whole holiday season and beyond. It's going to be one of your new favorites. So I hope that you can join us for this fabulous event. It is again November 14th from 9 to 1 in the Tulsa area, and tickets will be available at nancymore.co/events, and you can scroll down and find the ticket information there. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I would love to hear from you, love to answer any questions. Hope to see you at the event. And now on to the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast. I'm Nancy Moore, and I am thrilled to welcome you back again for another episode. So this episode, I get the pleasure of talking with Jackie Potter, and this is really in honor of National Adoption Month. And so for Jackie and her husband, Chad, the path to building their family began with heartbreak, but ultimately they found hope through adoption. Jackie and Chad were high school sweethearts, and they dreamt of starting a family early in their marriage. However, they faced unimaginable loss, before discovering that adoption wasn't just an option, it was their calling. And I am so excited to talk to Jackie. She has a very unique story too, because the idea of adoption was very familiar with her because she was actually adopted at age 2. So
Right.
Jackie is with me today. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Nancy. I appreciate it. I'm excited to chat with you this morning.
I am so glad that we're able to talk. So, Jackie and her husband Chad are in the November issue of Tulsa Kids Magazine. And so, it is out on newsstands now. So, people can go to tulsakids.com to find that and read about her story. But this is actually hearing more from Jackie and her heart for building a family, building a life, building a business. So, we're going to get to all of that as well. So, if we can start out by you just sharing a little bit about your adoption journey and what
Yeah,
led you to first consider adoption.
sure. So, like you had mentioned, I was adopted by my stepdad. So, it was a natural kind of thing in our family. It wasn't anything abnormal about that or weird or anything like that. So, when Chad and I first got married, like you had mentioned, we were high school sweethearts, and we really just wanted to start a family pretty early on. We were excited to get going, and got pregnant fairly quickly, and then found out soon after that the baby was not going to survive. And I had a late term miscarriage about 20 weeks. And so with that and being young, they sent us to a high risk pregnancy doctor, and she gave us the news that it just wasn't looking good. Chad had a chromosome translocation, and then I had a blood clotting issue. So with those two together at the time, I don't know, there might be something to fix that now. You know how science and medicine is, but at the time, she really suggested adoption would be a great path for us. And so with, being adopted as a young kid, that was just like not a big deal to us to even think about that. So we didn't go through any other process as far as in vitro or anything like that. We just decided that let's go ahead and get started on that path of adoption. And so we quickly went to Catholic Charities and filled out our application. We were super excited. And adoption came quickly for us because Chad's Native American. So Native American babies have to go with a Native American family. You need to be on the rolls for that. So it came very, very fast for us. And this fly, I'm sorry, Nancy, fly. So came very fast for us. And we were chosen, I would say it was probably, I think we put our book in like in August, and then our first little one was born in October. And so with that came a lot of heartache though too. We were learning how to be parents. We were learning how to include our birth mother in things that we were doing. And after 6 weeks of having him, she changed her mind, and she was able to do that and take him back because of the Indian Child Welfare Act. So she was able to do that because the adoption wasn't finalized yet. So starting off with a late term miscarriage and then your first chance at adoption, and then that is a failed adoption. It was a pretty rough go to try to start our family. But then we just jumped right back in and I got a call from another agency that was needing Indian families. And so we went ahead reluctantly, we were nervous as all get out to kind of start again. We knew what we wanted our end goal to be. We knew we were being led in this way, but it was still very scary. But we went ahead and put our book in again, and we were chosen within a few weeks. And then our son Carson was born in February. So that was like a rainbow of all rainbows. We were so excited. And so then Carson was born. And then 18 months later, we were chosen for Kennedy. And she was a surprise. We were not expecting that at all. We didn't have our book in, and the agency just called and needed an Indian family. And so we got Kennedy, and then it just kind of kept going from there. So I don't know if you want me to keep going on.
I have a couple of follow-up questions just because I want people to kind of understand. So there are different types of adoption. You and Chad chose open.
We did.
open adoption.
We
And
did.
so that is also how to keep, I know you can kind of explain this more, but to
Yeah.
keep the birth moms in the child's life
Right.
a little bit,
Right.
then she also, I guess, before it was finalized, was able to decide that she didn't want to do that. So,
Right. Right.
um,
Right. So we did choose open adoption. Our agency, Crisis Pregnancy Outreach, that we went with all the other kiddos, they ask you to be an open family within reason, though. So it's not just all the time it has to be open. I mean, there are boundaries within that too. If people aren't making the right decisions, that's a boundary that you can set for yourself and for your family. I mean, because you were chosen for a reason. And boundaries are important in that too. So yes, so we did everything that we could to make her feel welcome, and make her feel a part of his, beginning of his life. But ultimately, she just felt that she could not do that, and so she decided to take him back and raise him herself.
okay. Okay. And then
Mhm.
you also mentioned your book. And so I'd like for people to know what the book
Oh, yes. Yes. So, for each adoption, we put together a life book. And whenever we first started, it wasn't like you did it online. I mean, you did everything like the old school scrapbook style with stickers and, like the little die cuts and all of that kind of stuff. So it took some time. And basically what the book is, now it's all done online, but basically what the book is just telling your story as a couple. And if you have kids, including your kids in there too, and just things that you like to do, things about yourself, things that your family does together, family traditions or hobbies that you and your spouse have or that your kids have. And I remember one birth mom, she chose us because Chad was into hunting and her dad was into hunting. And she just really connected with that. And so it could be the simplest thing that the birth mom connects with and feels like, I'm comfortable with them. I want to choose them. So it's important when you're making that life book, which I'm assuming that they still do, but it's been a while since we've been through the process, but I'm assuming that they still do that. But to me, it's important to be completely honest in that book and kind of raw in that book, because you never know, like I said, what is going to draw one birth mom to you because of one simple thing that you said.
Mhm, mhm. Now, your story, you are vocal and honest and open about sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
And so what have you seen kind of come of that? Because you don't have the norm. You have 4 kids now,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have I would say you're a special family. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And your story is not typical. It has had a lot of, heartbreak and heartache. So,
Right.
to get to the point you are. And so how open and honest have you been with people? Can you kind of talk to us about your journey? Because I would like for you to talk about the 10 kids
Right.
that have been that you're a mom too,
Right.
that, have been part of the process as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that I don't know. I think it's just maybe just what God has given me, like that, like just that strength or that kind of working through me to be open. I think it's helped a lot of other moms and dads. They, families, spouses. They come and reach out to Chad and I all the time, especially. I mean, I had someone reach out this morning, after posting the Tulsa Kids thing, and just that she had a connection and would love to grab coffee. So it's little things like that. Anytime I post something or I mention, like when you and I met, and I mentioned that to you, and look what it's led to, and like the just kind of the outreach that's brought. Um, I've always been an open book. And so certain people kind of know that work within the community too. And so they often will give our number. We'll meet couples, for dinner or meet them on for coffee and just kind of go over and talk about and just be there as like a listening board, because we kind of have seen all the different things that can happen in adoption. And so Chad and I both are an open book. My husband and I are both an open book when it comes to that. And so I think that has helped other couples release some of their fears and kind of let go of some of the concerns that they have, because for us in the end, I mean, there was such redemption. So we have everything, sorry.
Yeah.
So we have everything that we prayed for.
Oh, that's amazing, Jackie. That is amazing. And
So it's hard for me to talk about sometimes. I told myself I'm not going to cry today, but it's an emotional thing. It's how your family was built.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And your story is just exceptional. And that's why I was so thrilled that you were open,
yeah,
to sharing this on a bigger scale. Because I know your friends, your neighbors, people word of mouth kind of know, but sharing it on a larger scale,
yeah,
is a little different story too. So
yeah. It's a beautiful thing though, because then it's going to reach even more people who may want to reach out to you and just open that door for more people to adopt and be open to the idea of it. Sometimes I think it's such a scary idea that people may stray away from. And I hope that, if they feel that, I hope that they do something about it.
yeah.
It's there for a reason, right? If you're feeling that nudge, it's there for a reason. So
Yes. Yes. So I would like for you to share, because you probably hear people's concerns, and the road hasn't been easy, but again, you've been called to this life. So could you share maybe one of the myths or one of the concerns people have with adoption and your perspective on that?
Sure. So I think a lot of times when I meet with people, there's a couple of things I think that they are concerned about. The first thing is, what are the birth parents like? What if they want to be a part of it? I'm like, well, what if they don't? Like I'd much rather have that connection and that openness. And our adoptions are not super open. We have phone conversations, text messages, things like that with some of them. And some of them have chosen not to. Some of them we've had to put up boundaries because of different issues. And so each adoption is so different. And so when they say, when families are concerned about that, it's like, you've just got to kind of ride that out and know that adoption isn't just about you building your family. It's also a ministry. So you're also working towards, repairing these women and their, I'm not getting emotional again. You're just supposed to be there for them too. It's not just about you. It's also a ministry. So, and I think that's an important thing to share with them too. And I think that changes your, maybe your perspective a little bit when you're going through it, because there are going to be hard times with your birth families. I think the other thing people get concerned with or have fears about is what if the baby doesn't attach? What if it doesn't feel like my own baby? And I'm like, I can't answer that, because like the second that baby is placed in your arms, I mean, you've already prayed so hard for this moment. And the second that baby is placed in your arms, I don't know any different of having a biological baby placed in my arms versus an adopted baby. But to me, I can't imagine feeling any more elation than I did that day. Same for my husband. It's like, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't, there is a fear there, I'm sure, but just from experience, I mean, our kids are our kids. Like we're mom and dad. We do sports. We have dinners at the table, like every other family. We're just like every other family. So I think those are probably the top two concerns that people have a lot with, just kind of starting the process, and the waiting. How long is it going to take? Like, I have no idea. Nobody has any idea. That's just kind of another hard part of the process. You don't know how long that's going to take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then, we know who knows, God knows how long
Exactly.
it's going to take, but yeah, it
Yeah.
hard. So I want to ask about, maybe what you wish more people understood about adoption and adoptive families.
I don't know what a misconception might be though. I don't know, like, um, I mean, kind of like what I said just a minute ago, like we're just normal, typical families. And I think a lot of times for us, unless you know our story specifically, you don't know that my kiddos are adopted. I mean, if you look at a family picture of ours, and people will say, oh my gosh, she has your husband's cheekbones, or I'm like, that's just because they're Native American. Like there's no bloodline there, so, but people say like all of us look so much alike. My oldest and my middle look exactly alike. They've got like dirty blonde hair um, and kind of grayish bluish eyes. And then my other two have brown hair and brown eyes. I mean, it's just kind of funny that we all just kind of look very, very similar to each other. So maybe a misconception might be like, that I don't know, that it's tough or that they're bullied, or that I don't really know what that misconception would be, but I don't feel that I'm misunderstood in any way. And so I hope that other families feel that too and just kind of live their life just like a normal family would. I will say too, we're very open with our kids about their adoption. So, and we've been that way from day one. So it's a very natural thing for them too. So when kids ask about it at school or, things like that, they're just like, yeah, what's the big deal? So so it's not a big deal to them either. I don't know if that really answered your question.
No, that did. Yeah, no, that did. Yeah, that did. So you were talking about normal life, and I've mentioned at the top of the episode that you are an entrepreneur. In addition to being a mom, a friend, a wife, everything,
Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur. And so I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about J. Potter Collective,
Yeah.
because that's what you have in the Tulsa area. And in kind of share what you do, because you're
Sure.
way more than a mom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, all of us kind of play multiple roles in life. And so, I stayed at home with my kids for a while. I was also a kindergarten teacher off and on for about 10 years, before I started this business. But back in 2018, my husband and I found a vintage fire station, and he was adamant that we purchase it. We had no idea what we were going to do with the fire station, but we love old buildings in Tulsa. We love restoring Tulsa. We've been here our whole life, and it's just a huge part of who we are. And so we spent about a year restoring it. And within that time, we decided to open it as an event venue. And we opened in 2020, the perfect time for an event venue. So, but our saving grace was that we had a lot of lawn space in the back of the station, where we had plenty of room for people to still celebrate, but at a safe distance at that time. And then we purchased another old building in the Pearl District called the Union Building, and we restored that into an event venue as well. And then we purchased more land over by the station. It's about a mile from Station 13, called Pecan Valley. And we have 3 vacation homes on the property, as well as a barn that is a venue as well. So then with all of those different venues, we kind of decided to put them into a collection. And then that's where J. Potter Collective was kind of born. And so I have these different venues that I can service so many different kinds of clients, and have different venues available. Some provide, certain amenities, while others provide a different kind of vibe and things like that. So it's nice to have the 3 different ones, because as I'm working with the client, I can kind of tailor each experience more towards them, depending on what kind of event they're having and their capacity and all of that kind of stuff. So it's nice. It's fun. I've really, really enjoyed it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody, I have been to 2 of the locations,
Yeah.
the fire station, Station 13, and then also the Union Building, and they are
Yeah.
so well done, so well
Thank you.
redone. Yes.
Thank
And
you.
so I'm looking forward to in 2026 to hosting some different things there. But that is how
Yeah.
Jackie and I met. Well, actually, a
We
friend
met at
of
a
ours,
meeting before that. Yeah.
yes, Jackie Hanna. And so
That's right.
anyway, through a little networking, but yes. And so after we connected, and then I was in the Union Building, and you
Mhm.
were opening up about your adoption, and now here we are.
And now here we are, which I have no idea how that even transpired that day, but it did. And so there was a reason for it. And now we're
Yeah.
here. So
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. So, okay, this has been so fun. So, in wrapping up, I would love for you to share how you personally or professionally, what you're doing to thrive in 2025.
I would say, professionally, I would say, this is kind of the long stretch, the end of the fourth quarter. You're kind of in that final stretch, and I think for me, it's just consistency, just being consistent um, with my social media, being consistent with my tours and things like that, just to kind of ride that last quarter out and just being consistent and not letting up in that. And then I think with personally, um, it's that work-life balance, because this time of year can be so busy, and the kids have so many fun things going on with the holidays, and I don't want to miss any of that. So I think just thriving this last quarter with the holidays and things like that is just having a good balance, and making sure that you're kind of reaching everybody too, and myself, right? I've got to still take care of myself.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
first, and then
Right.
you can take care of everybody
That's
else.
right.
So,
That's right.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you'll let people know how they can find you.
Yeah. So, definitely on, Instagram, you can do J Potter Collective on Instagram. You can also email me, Jackie@jpottercollective.com. Like I said, I'm an open book, and I would love to chat with anybody that's even considering adoption, that's going through some tough times with adoption, or anything like that. So I would love to chat. More
Yeah.
than happy to. So,
Oh, I
yeah.
love that. And I know I'm sure now people will be reaching out. You've
Yeah,
already
I
sent
hope
it to them.
so. Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much for visiting with me, Jackie. This has been amazing.
absolutely. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate you being here. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are at Sharing Passion and Purpose, and Twitter is at Passion Sharing. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.